What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the SPADE Life Podcast. We are here with another special guest today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is Dane. I'm representing my own channel under the same name. You can find me pretty quickly on YouTube. I'm the Dane Hoover with the crazy brown hair.
That's a good way to describe yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty noticeable. I got the John Jones body type, so in combination with the hair, I stick out like a sore thumb.
Nice. So, why don't you describe us a little about your channel and what you do?
So my channel is kind of a collection of my hobbies. There's no real niche in it. It's just things I do that I personally enjoy. Some things that I think other people would find interesting. Like I have a video that just shows like bird formations, and that's like really niche. But then I have a video about like running barefoot in the woods, and I've got another video where it's like an MMA and sword fight. So you're gonna see all kinds of stuff. As far as like overall content though, if I were to classify it, I would say it's probably mostly revolving around fitness, and especially in the outdoors.
So is it like vlogging type, kind of?
I try to stay away from vlogging. I only like to put myself in the video if I'm explaining something. I've done a few vlogs, but they've more or less been updates. I personally enjoy making kind of like a demonstration / documentary mixture. Like I have a video series on travels. Some of these particular videos were in Asia, and I've got more coming, and I've realized through doing them, I really enjoy making them as full of information as possible. So that's something I've enjoyed kind of formalizing.
So you're like a cinematic storyteller of type.
I wouldn't give myself that title yet, but that is the goal.
I say just give yourself the title now. As soon as you give yourself the title, then you just live up to it.
Yeah, good point.
I call myself a director / comedian, so I'm not that yet, but I'm gonna call myself that now.
Fair enough. I'll have to start doing that.
So, like, where are you from?
I'm from the D.C. area. I was born in Maryland, but I grew up in Virginia. When I moved to Virginia, we moved to the woods, and that's from like 2 on. So that's what really raised me, I'd say, if anything. I've always been outdoorsy, and I would say it's literally because like my house, right? It's an old contemporary home, and it's got these big glass windows. The moonlight just pours in. You can see the forest. I've been building structures out there and shelters for the longest time. So I live it and I breathe it.
That sounds very, very nice.
Yeah, it is, but it's got its downsides. Like, well, I hate winter now. It used to be fun as a kid, having snowball fights. I still love hot chocolate. But let's be real. If you like hot chocolate, you'll have it any time of the year. But our driveway is like close to 1,000 feet, and it's all uphill. I've had to shovel it before. It's no fun.
Doesn't that suck? When we were kids, it was like, okay, snow days and rain days were like, they were like prime time for us to go out and have like some extra weird fun. And then like as soon as you get older, like rainy days is like, oh great, now I have to go to work in the rain. Or snowy days are like, great, now I have to go shovel all this area. Like,
yeah.
We grew up, and then those good times that we had in weather just kind of died off, didn't they?
I can definitely relate to that. I've worked in the snow, in the rain, and I mean, yeah, it sucks in the moment, but I'm always appreciative of it after the fact, just like when I go on a run or something, because it's really the experience that kind of toughens you up. Like, actually, to segue back from my other things, like I just went for a run in the snow recently, and it felt fantastic, you know. But it's like it's cold at the beginning, but once you acclimate, it's really not that bad. Now, that being said, when I acclimated to the reality of having to shovel driveways instead of like playing outside as a kid, that's when I discovered senioritis and, you know, made my own snow days when I didn't have to shovel snow.
Yeah. Oh, the good old days. It kind of also reminded me when I looked in my backyard and I was like, the leaves that I didn't get to rake up when they all fell, they're still back there. And I'm like, I remember when I used to jump in those and didn't worry about matter of fact, the only reason I raked them was to jump in them.
Yeah. Work hard, play hard.
So, what's like your future goals on YouTube? Like, do you have any specific type of milestones you're trying to hit any time in the future soon?
That's what I've been trying to determine for myself recently. I enjoy putting videos out there. As for any kind of income or career option, I think that would be nice, but it's certainly not a goal or a reach, because no matter how much money I have at any given time, there will be something to do that I enjoy. Like, if I had no money, it was incapable of receiving any more, I would have zero problems disappearing into the woods. So, as far as my goals with YouTube, I just want to put better content out there, and I want to, you know, create more culture than I consume. I'd say that's my overarching goal / theme.
So your main goal now and in the future is just to create beautiful things.
Yeah.
I got no problems with that. Like, even if you escape into the woods, I mean, you could still record woodsy things.
Oh, yeah. I think it would make a great documentary.
Yeah, it would, actually. Ooh, is there even... I'm trying to think back. Is there even a, like, YouTube documentary type thing?
Probably. I know there are a bunch of dudes who've put, like, some longer stuff together. I follow this one guy. His name is TA Outdoors. He has, like, 40-minute videos a pop, and he's building, like, bushcraft shelters with some few tools. He's got a dog with him. It's pretty sweet. I like that kind of stuff. I would do something like that.
I think that would be kind of interesting to watch. I didn't even really think about that until right now, if people made documentary type videos on YouTube. That's kind of a good idea, though.
Oh, it's sweet, man. It's like, to me, there's another guy I really like who does, they're a bit shorter, averaging like 11 to 20 minutes, but this guy called Alfie Aesthetics, this British kind of, it sounds like he's from the SAS, but, I mean, his stuff is like really educational while entertaining. So, I mean, that's something I admire, you know, the entertainment aspect is imperative to, like, an enticing video.
I understand that. I get that good. So, you are linked up with Udabak, are you?
Yeah, I'm actually with him, right? I mean, not in the same room, but under the same roof.
Oh, cool.
I've known him since, like, half of 8th grade. We've been real tight since then, but we've recently independently started YouTubes and figured we could combine our assets and make some collaborations. But, yeah, he says hi again.
You guys can do some woodsy challenges.
I would love to. Like, matter of fact, like, we're down in Duck, North Carolina right now.
Yeah. And
they've got this place called the Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge. And I spent a few hours down in that area today because, I mean, just the harp on it. I love the outdoors. I couldn't get him to go with me. I don't think he's got that same kind of Steve Irwin attitude that I do.
See, man, I'm all down for like exploring, and I love animal type things. So if there's any animals in the situation, I'll probably go and put myself in that situation for some reason.
Yeah, man, do it for the tube. Go right up to the gators, get that teeth shot.
Oh no, I'm just gonna hug a gator just for YouTube.
I could totally see something like that happening. I'm sure something has. God, the news is so, not even like political, but it's just so amazing to see some of the stories. Like, I pay attention to Florida's news, and I mean, the characters they've got down there, like the people mingling, it's just. One of my favorite stories is this guy. He stole a forklift, drove it through this ABC store, and caused over $100,000 worth of damage, and that's just incredible to me.
I'm pretty sure like Florida has like way more entertaining news than like most places. Because they have things like, oh, this person found a 12-foot alligator in their kid's pool outside.
Oh, man, you know a scary story about alligators? Did you hear about that python in Florida a few years ago that ate an entire alligator and then died when the claws pierced its skin?
What?
Yeah, man. These things are monsters. Like, alligators are older than trees, right? I mean, they haven't evolved in over 300 million years because they're perfect for their environments. They're literal killing machines. And a python just comes in and messes this thing's game up. I mean, that is Mother Nature telling us we belong in our little cities.
Did it squeeze it first, or did it just swallow it?
That's a good question. I would assume that the snake suffocated it. I believe it was, just a python. I don't remember if there's a longer name. Obviously wouldn't have just willingly been eaten. That's a good question, actually. I'm not sure.
The alligator was kind of like, you know what? This might as well happen.
Oh, man. I love watching the animal fights. I don't know if that makes me a bad person. I'm sorry. But I find it immensely entertaining to see other animals' method of combat. Like, I'm a martial artist, and I love UFC and all that. But when you watch a bear fight, right, it's not like Muay Thai or anything. Like, man's not throwing an uppercut. Like, they're just whacking each other.
I mean, it's nature. It's going to happen anyway. We might as well watch it.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said it's nature. It's going to happen anyway, so we might as well just watch it.
Absolutely. I am a big believer in the circle of life.
And if there's a bear fight, then I'm going to be right there. I'm not going to be in the fight, but I'm going to watch the fight.
If there are cubs nearby, that's not a fight I want to take on.
Would you fight a bear cub?
I wouldn't fight a bear that's more than probably 250 pounds, because it's like, pound for pound, they're a lot stronger than us. I think I would have a chance, barehanded, a very slim chance. Like, I'd win maybe 1 out of 10 times if I fought a 200-pound bear.
Those are some good odds.
I know. I might be being generous.
1 out of 10 bears you would win.
I'm sorry, just about it.
Like, if we're fighting bears, then you got at least one of them.
I'm telling you right now, if we're fighting bears, like, even as a team, and I see 2 bears, I'm getting out of there. They're causing damage. I would just be like, run, man.
Come on, man. 2 of us can take 2 bears. You just said you could take 1 by yourself. 2 of us could take.
You could take 1?
I'm gonna say maybe, but I'm not gonna fight fair.
I need that confidence, like you were saying. You gotta call yourself the bear wrestler if you're gonna do it.
I'm not gonna fight fair at all. Like, they have claws. I need a weapon too.
Fair enough. I'd probably make a spear. That would be a pretty good deterrent.
I'm gonna throw sand in its eyes to distract them, and then see how far that goes. Do bears have nuts? Because I'm gonna kick the bear in the nuts.
Probably. I think most animals though it's like retractable or whatever the exact word is, where like you can't see it, right?
Yeah.
They're not all like dangly hangly like us.
Why the hell do human males have our weakest point just hanging out of us, and when other animals can put it inside them?
That's a really good question. I feel like it's got something to do with the fact that we've also got a lot less hair than our primate cousins. I would guess personally it's because as our brains grew, our need for protection diminished, and we moved from a colder climate, well in some cases, to where it's warmer, and you wear less clothing, like you don't need all that hair, and I feel like there's something about like a reproductive desire that visuals are all the more, I guess, like captivating,
Yeah. So you're saying because I'm intelligent and I move to a place where I don't need fur to survive, my nuts are exposed.
In a nutshell, yeah.
I've never heard it that way, but it makes so much sense now.
I'm just spitballing here.
I'm a smart hairless being, so here's my weakest point.
Yeah, here's some food for thought. Have you ever heard of the stoned ape theory?
I may have, but feel free to refresh me.
I'll give you I'm going to try and condense it for you, because I have a real problem with speaking as fast as my mind thinks, so it's real difficult to make this succinct, but here goes nothing. So the theory is the idea that when monkeys were in the process of evolving and migrating from receding tree canopies to, plains and whatnot, experimenting with new food sources on the ground, something they discovered underneath cow dung would have been magic mushrooms, say area or cubensis, I believe it's called, or whatever psilocybin mushroom it is. They had it, and when they were tripping, it expanded their brains in terms of empathy, and I'm totally blanking on the other effects, but if you look, let me actually Google it real quick to get the words, because one of the things they're trialing, for example, in California, is medicinal mushrooms, and the exact things that it actually helps with, for example, like neurodegenerative issues like Alzheimer's, where it's reversing that, are the kind of things that monkeys would have developed to become us.
All right. Can we get marijuana legalized before we get magic mushrooms legalized?
You gotta send an email to Jeff Sessions. Yeah, but a quick little footnote on that. There's a real interesting thought on that too. If the mushrooms sculpted our minds, then they could be the architects of not only biomes and environments and habitats, but of the entire world. Because if they gave us the resources to think analytically, logically, and gave us the greed and or the empathy to change the planet in, the ways we have, then, that's incredible. We are a success to things we hardly ever notice.
But with that theory, if they took the mushrooms back then and evolved to create, better us as society, if we took them now, would we evolve to an even greater society?
See, that's the real interesting thing, right? Are we at the pinnacle of our evolution? Like, we're so arrogant, we kind of think we are. But what I personally believe is that we're becoming the masters of evolution. And what I mean by that is what we're doing with CRISPR and in terms of cyberkinetic, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I always mix that one up. Enhancements so that we'll be able to, and 3D printing, enhanced stem cell engineering. So all of these in combination will essentially give you a better body. And I don't mean like you'll have washboard abs. I mean like you'll have skin that can't be pierced. You'll have bones that are unbreakable. You'll have the eyes of a hawk. I mean, like we'll come to a point in society where old bodies are just like trash. You know, you could be like, hey, I'm gonna go to the store and like get this upgrade, and it could just be like a little pill, right? Okay, now you got the ears of a cheetah or the nose of a bloodhound, you know, whatever you want, because again, we're going to figure out how to do these things, and this could be our technological evolution, which would be our only realistic parallel to the incredibly fast evolution of technology and our intelligent counterpart, AI, artificial intelligence, which is going to usurp us real quickly. And this is a huge tangent. I know I'm about to wrap it up. I mean, I literally talk about this forever. But if AI determines that we are worthy of living on the planet alongside it, and I'm an optimist, so this is what I believe that it would, then I think it would design a better system for us, because our bodies, you know, while we can do a lot, you know, once we've spent 10,000 hours training in jiu-jitsu or guitar or whatever, and you're a master at that, you're still limited by what the human body can do in its motions and its repetitions. But like, we're really just the summation of all of our memories, because everything you've ever experienced, everything you've ever done, every memory you've made has formed your personality today in a way that's going to control every decision you make. So when you start to forget these memories, right, like you lose bits of yourself, and that's kind of saying your body's not really relevant. Your body's more of the car that your brain, the memories, is driving. So if we find a way to contain and manage those memories, i.e. personality, then that's going to have really interesting implications for evolution, and that is really going to be interesting, or intriguing rather, to say, and see where we will evolve.
All right, I got three tips on that. here's three little notes on that. Number one, don't worry about how long your tangents are, because this is an hour-long podcast, so make them as long as you want.
All right.
And number two, I know that humans have nowhere near the knowledge of knowing how far they can push their own body, or how far the human body can go. Because have you seen contortionist?
Yeah.
Like, someone just woke up one morning and decided, I can bend myself in any direction, in any position, and like it'd be perfectly fine, not breaking a rib or anything. Like, that is some superhuman type stuff that not everybody think they can do. But I saw this one thing where this chick just woke up one morning and was like, I wonder, can I do that? And she trained herself to become a contortionist.
I did some research on it, because my mom's actually what's called like hypermobile.
Yeah.
And I saw this video of this guy, like, he was going in for a handshake, and then he flipped his hands to the other side. And I was like, all right, I got to figure out how to do this, because clearly there's not some like genetic mix-up. And apparently it's just a thing of flexibility, which just goes to show you, like, when you put the hours in, unless you're a true natural, really anything is accomplishable, as long as it's like physically possible.
Well,
but that being, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, that goes to my third point of the thing. I think the next step for us is all of us becoming inhumans.
In what sense?
In the sense of, one day people are gonna start slowly unlocking like new things in their mind that they had no idea was even physically possible, like things that science would say that's not possible at all. and they're gonna start unlocking these things, and then we're gonna be that next step of evolution, which would be inhuman. Will people think like, oh, that guy has superpowers, but they don't know themselves that they can train their brains to also do amazing things?
Have you seen the movie Lucy by any chance?
Yeah, I saw Lucy. I love Lucy.
Yeah.
Even though people hate it on Lucy, I love Lucy.
It was a great movie. I mean, it reminds me exactly of what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true, but they said that in the movie, they said you only use 10% of your brain.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So, I don't know how that exactly fits in the equation, but if, like you said, if there's more to unlock, then there's a lot more to discover.
I mean, I'm pretty sure 95% of the people in the world are not using their full brain. Have you seen the president?
He might be using nothing.
Yeah. There's so many people who don't know like what they're actually capable of, and they might not ever know. They might die not knowing. But there's some people out there who aren't telling anybody that they found something. But there's some people out there who's actually probably unlocked a good portion of their brain and can do some kind of amazing things.
Have you ever seen Shaolin monks in action?
Yeah.
They've unlocked some serious discipline. I mean, truly amazing feats that take lifetimes of devotion to achieve.
Yeah.
I mean, we are always, discovering what we can do, and these guys are just over there. I mean, throwing a needle through a sheet of glass, breaking concrete over their abs, running across 100 meters of water on like a half-inch platform that's tied together by rope. Things like that where... Wait, hang on, I gotta rewind. I almost derailed. I think I derailed myself, actually. You had said... bring it back. It's gone. Well, I'll just jump to saying that if we were to evolve now without technology, in the sense that we wouldn't be modifying ourselves, I think our phones and our computers would... Well, there's VR to consider too, because as VR becomes better than real life, we're probably going to adapt to want to just be sustained while living in this virtual world, because I love my life, right? But if I could go to a world where everything would be exactly as I want it, i.e. utopia, then I have no incentive to leave it, and if I can't distinguish it from real life, then that becomes my real life by default. So that is a potential evolutionary outcome, but let's say for hypothetical situation, right, that is not feasible, and we just like live on our laptop, we have our laptop and our phones, then we'd probably revolve around them and begin to, our eyes certainly deteriorate. I don't know. Scary though. People are evolving around their phones right now.
Yeah, they are.
You have a kid, right?
Yeah, I have a kid.
What's your phone policy?
He's 2 right now, so he does not have one. But as he gets older, though, I've seen like recently that there's so many people who give their kids phones when they're like 7 or 8, and I'm like, why does a 7 or 8-year-old need an iPhone? That's kind of ridiculous.
Life and death situations, bro. Gotta send that snap.
That's ridiculous. Who's the 7-year-old snapping?
I don't know, man. It's just.
But by the time my kid is gonna be like 16 or something, who knows what form of technology we're gonna have by then?
Yeah, man. Can you believe the iPhone only came out 11 years ago?
Yeah, now we're on iPhone 10.
It's crazy.
Like
But
every year they must upgrade it in some weird way.
I would say upgrade is being very generous.
They slightly modify one little thing and call it a new phone.
Yeah, to me, like Apple's just like stagnating on legacy, and I say like yeah, they're still making money, but to me they're stagnating because there's no real innovation. Everything they've done has been done better by Android, or just doesn't work. I mean, I'm pretty biased though. I've had a bunch of Apple products, and if I'm not here to complain about Apple, I'm sorry. This is going bad quickly.
Time for the Apple tangent.
Yeah, so I saw this video of this guy in India, right? He had nothing but shorts on, and he dived head first into the septic tank to unclog it. I straight up jaw dropped, and I was like, I think I just lost every single right I had to complain. Nothing I have ever done is as gross as what this guy just did.
Was he doing it like that was his job, or?
I don't know, but I think if you've done that once, like you've done it enough for a lifetime.
Yeah. Even if
So,
you
like,
just even if you just like step in it, that's one thing.
I
Diving
know,
head
dude.
first.
Imagine, like, if someone drops, like, people drop cash in the toilet, they're not gonna get that. I mean, this guy just swam in it, and he didn't. I mean, I'm assuming he didn't complain, but if he can do that, right, then I've done some nasty stuff. Like, I've been covered in mud, I've cleaned gutters, but, you know, that's just, like, rainwater and, like, leaves and crap. I mean, I realized, like, complaining is just, it's not only useless, but it's just a waste of energy, and, you know, focus on the good stuff. So, I'm ironically complaining about complaining right now, so I don't know if I'm a hypocrite, but that's how I feel about it. I'm just like, let's get stuff done, and let's just be happy about it, because I'm not here to have a bad time.
You're just stuck in a loop right now. You're either complaining, or you're complaining about complaining, which is complaining. So you're just in a vicious cycle right there.
I gotta break it. I just gotta change the topic then.
Let's talk about bear fighting again, no?
Yeah, so what would be your strategy? Like kicking in the nuts and like throwing sand in its eyes?
I'm just gonna keep throwing shit at it, like the whole time. The whole fight is just me throwing shit at a bear. If somehow something stuns it, I might go in for a punch or a kick, but besides that, it's all about distance, man. Like if you're the smaller guy in a fight, you want to keep your distance. You don't want to get all close up to it.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. Some small guys like, yo, like I'm a black belt in BJJ. Size doesn't matter. I'm gonna put this bear in a rear naked choke. We'll see how he likes that.
Like I've done MMA for a while, and I also have done wrestling. So yeah. I personally
nice.
know.
What weight class?
Huh?
What weight class?
Heavyweight.
I was 220 and heavyweight.
Yeah.
Good times, man. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Oh, but I know personally, like if you're the smaller guy, in the fighting situation, there's no chance in hell you want to get in arm's reach of the person that's bigger than you. Like your first tactic is to make them tired enough so you can probably get close to them, but then you still don't want to get that close.
I relate to that all too well, my friend.
So that's my bear fighting strategy. I don't know how long it takes to tire out a bear, but I'm gonna find out.
Just gotta use that sheer willpower.
I'm gonna climb a tree and see what happens. Can bears climb trees?
They can not only climb trees and faster than us, but they can also outrun us on any kind of terrain unless it's downhill.
I'm gonna run downhill. I'm gonna roll downhill. Oh, wait, here's a good one. If I run up a tree, right, and I climb up that tree, and that bear's right behind me, and he starts to climb up that tree, can that bear get out of that tree as quickly as I can get out of that tree?
Depends on how comfortable you are jumping.
I will. If there's a bear behind me, I'm gonna leap of faith. Have you seen Assassin's Creed? I'm eagle diving off of that tree, and hoping I land in a pile of hay somehow.
I hope you do too. I'd hate to see you go into a bear.
Because I always wondered that, like, if things can climb up trees with you, can they also get down that tree just as fast?
That's another good question. I thankfully haven't witnessed this because I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now. Like I said, I got a 10% chance if I'm being generous. But, yeah, bears are also apex predators, and we're just, like, dudes with, like, you know, some advanced thinking, so I'm not going to throw my thoughts at a bear.
I mean, technically, if you want to use our advanced thinking, like, we've developed weapons, but that's not the scenario for this fight. But I'm going to just throw that in the minds of everyone out there, that we have also developed weapons so we could fight bears. Well, the weapons weren't designed to fight the bears, but there are weapons out there in which we could fight bears with, such as guns or knives or katanas. I don't know who would be carrying around a katana around a bear, but I'm pretty sure that'd be a very interesting fight. But
I'm telling you, I like guns, right? But when it comes to hunting, I wouldn't want to use a gun. There's something nice about being primitive and primal about it, you know, going at it with the spear or a bow and arrow. Maybe I've watched too much Dual Survival. Maybe I've played too much Assassin's Creed 3. But like, if I kill a bear, I want it to be, you know, like a fight. You know, I want to earn that bear claw necklace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I'm all about bow and arrow, man. If I'm gonna go hunting, that's what I'm all about. A bow and arrow and a knife. Like,
yeah, there you go.
If I survived, then I did my job. And also, when you mentioned Assassin's Creed 3, the first name that popped in my head was Connor.
Ratan Kanarin, my man. He is honestly, like, I'm gonna go on a little Assassin's Creed tangent. He is the baddest of them all.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
Have you seen the trailer for that game?
Yeah.
I mean, for anyone who hasn't watched it, I'll give you a quick brief or whatever. So, the trailer opens to an eagle going through the trees, and all of a sudden you just see this guy running on the branches, jumping from tree to tree. Next thing you know, he's going through the camp. Everyone, it's a colony camp. And everyone's, like, retreating. The British are coming. All you see is red over the hill. Someone's, like, trying to push him out of the way. He pushes them off. He gets on the horse, jumps over the barricade, runs to the cannons and the bayonets. The horse, he's on the side, protected, slides behind a rock. They're reloading, jumps up. They haven't finished packing the musket. He jumps over them, takes out 5 of them with their own weapons. Then he busts out the tomahawk. Takes out like another 10 to 15 or whatever. I mean, at this point, guy with the small weapon, the other side can now start pushing towards, and then he, out of the smoke, right, jumps up and he takes his bow out, shoots and aims while jumping, and then he lands this guy right in the chest. I mean, if that's not badass, I don't know what is.
I spent so much time on that game not doing the missions because I was hunting animals. Like, I was just climbing across trees and running on the branches and hunting every kind of animal I could find. Like,
yeah,
that was that game for me.
That game was perfect for that.
Yeah, well, they might as well have just made that game a hunting game. That's all it needed to be. Like, you could.
Dude, if you want a hunting game, you should play Far Cry Primal.
Is that a hunting? That's just hunting?
It's not solely about hunting, but there's a large emphasis. I'm not much of a gamer, don't get me wrong, but when I pick up a game and I play it for more than a little bit, I tend to fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And Far Cry Primal is one of those games for me. Mm-hmm. You play as what we call a caveman, and you can hire, I say in air quotes, these beasts come with you, so like you can tame like a mountain lion or like a boar or whatever, or even a saber-toothed tiger, or mammoth. No, not a mammoth. But, you know, you go after these animals, and they're just monstrosities. So I had this club, and this saber-tooth came after me, so I lit the club on fire, and I tried to beat it. But, yeah, I had a 0% chance of surviving him. But there's a good hunting game for you, yeah.
That sounds fun. I was looking at Far Cry 5 earlier today. I was watching people play it, and it looked pretty decent. So, like, they also had the hunting aspect on there too, because this one guy was just first he was getting chased by the bear for like 10 minutes, and then he decided to try and fight the bear. So yeah.
Wow, that's what I love about video games. They make you feel like superheroes.
Yeah, they do. That's probably why I play them all the time, because I want to be a superhero.
Just wait a few years until you got VR, man.
Or until they develop that pill that gives us all superpowers.
You know, what Syndrome from The Incredibles said? If everyone's special, no one's special.
But here's the thing, though. They make the pill so it gets into your DNA, and depending on your DNA, that's what kind of specific power you get. So everybody would still be different.
But that would be like 7.5, well, except for the twins. What they do deviate DNA. But everyone would, it'd be like 7.5 billion powers, but would yours be?
I would have to have some kind of like impenetrable skin. So like maybe a Colossus type thing, like I could turn myself metal at any time.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, it would. And that's kind of like, that also gives you strength too, so that's in there. That's all you really need. You need strength, and you can't be hurt. Like, perfect. I'm gonna be fucking Juggernaut.
One of my favorite names I ever heard from someone was Juggernauts. It was great.
Yeah. And when I heard that line in that movie, which one was that? I think that was X2 or X3. I think it was X3. Because the Dark Phoenix was in that one. But that's when they introduced Juggernaut, and he was chasing the cat girl who can walk through walls and stuff. And he was chasing her, and she was running through the walls and stuff. She was like, "Won't you just give up? You'll never be able to chase me." And he was like, "I'm not gonna give up. I'm a fucking Juggernaut." And he just ran through the wall. I was like, I'm gonna use that line forever. I want to be a fucking Juggernaut.
That's so sick. I mean, either one of those powers, if you have either one, you're taking names, and you know, the day is yours.
Yeah, there ain't no bear stopping you then.
I would let a bear like sink its fangs into me, just like let it break its teeth.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine the shock? You just turn your skin into steel, and then a bear clamps down, thinking it's gonna have a tasty little treat. And his teeth just break. What kind of like psychological effects does that have on the bear?
I think the way they bite down, like with the force that they do, it might break their whole jaw. Like, you just got a bear with a broken jaw, and he's looking dumb because he don't know what just happened.
Damn, that would be a way to go. Because when animals have problems like that, and we don't help them, they die. Mother Nature does not give a crap.
Yeah, that's why you go to the biggest and toughest bear in the forest, and then you break his jaw from him biting you, and then you become the king of the bears. Then you have
that would be cool.
You have a
like
bear army. Even though you don't really need the bear army because your body can turn into steel, but it'd still be nice to have bear pets.
That would be so good. I've always wondered what it would be like to be like Tarzan or something, because there have been kids who've legit been raised with animals, so they think differently. Their minds don't process the same way we do, because everything we perceive, right, like our realities are how we define it with our language. If you don't have words, if you don't have yellow and round or whatever, you're not going to be able to, see things the same way. So if you're communicating and living with animals, then, like, what is going through your mind? That, to me, that is so intriguing because we can't currently fathom it. Not until we read minds, and then we got the NSA to worry about. So there's all that.
I think the logistics of Tarzan, though, like, as just put it in his specific scenario, like, of everything that goes on in Tarzan, like, I don't think he would have survived until being an adult man. Because the things that came after him, and, like, the monkeys ain't gonna help you that much. Like, you're gonna die at some point. You're not gonna live to be an adult.
Hey. Called plot armor. Plot armor. It's gotta be thick like that skin.
No, you're not gonna live that long. You're gonna die unless you grow up and you're in the Jungle Book, which is just a musical. So you'll survive.
There's actually this one story though. It's this kid in France back in the 1800s. I think his name was Hugh. Oh, that's what they called him. He was like 9 or 10 when they found him with like the nappiest hair you'll ever see. I think they got a picture. And apparently he had been raised with wolves, but he didn't make the transition to people very well. I think he died a little bit after. But somehow he survived. That's incredible. I mean, how do you raise a human, right? Just like feed him, I guess, keep him warm.
I mean, I can see a pack of wolves. A pack of wolves could raise a human. A pack of wolves and a group of monkeys, and maybe a bear can raise a human, I think. But it's not like you're gonna drop a kid off in the ocean and he's gonna be raised by dolphins or something.
Yeah, that would be truly special.
Well, that's how mermaids were made.
Shape of Water, episode 2.
Oh, wasn't there sex with a fish man in that movie?
I haven't seen it, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I heard there was interspecies fish sex.
Bestiality on a whole other level.
Yeah.
What's interesting is the way they would do it in Avatar. The Na'vi with the hair, and they could have that connection with animals too. Now, we, again, like back to our arrogance and our super minds, right? We know that we have powerful minds, and we know that we have complex emotions, but it's clear that animals have personality and emotions to some extent as well, and probably even way more than we know. And the thing is, have you ever seen Joe Rogan?
Yeah. Sometimes I listen to his podcast.
Yeah, he's got a great podcast, but he's got a bit about dolphins' intelligence, and I don't want to spoil it. It's on his special called Triggered, so if you ever get the chance, check it out. It's really dope. But he has a real interesting point about dolphins not needing any more. So we could easily say they're not that smart, right? Because they don't send emails and they're not building houses, but they don't need anything more. Yeah, I just sent you a link to this kid called Victor of Averion, something like that. It's French. And that's about the kid who was raised by wolves or whatever. But, was it, what is Stan Pryor? Yeah, I would really like to understand what animals say to one another. Because, like, what instigates an animal fight, right? Like, they're not just always duking it out over females. And even when they are, like, they're saying, like, back off, that's my girl, or my man. Or they like, I just want to send a message to everyone else, like, this isn't personal.
Oh, they should seriously make, like, a teen drama movie about animals. Like, they have human personality, like a teenage girl. It's 2 teenage girls, but they're wolves.
Yeah, a wolf would be a great animal to represent that.
That'd be kind of funny. Why has no one ever done that?
I think because we just came up with that idea. We got to patent it, like, right now.
This is copyrighted. What's today's date? Today is... I don't even know what today's date is. Hold on.
March 28th, 2018. It's Wednesday, 9:55 p.m. or 21:55.
There you go. You did it for me. This is copyrighted. It's our idea. Don't steal it, or we will sue.
That's so crazy how patents and copyright works. Like, that's what's so fascinating about all these superheroes coming together.
Yeah.
Because Disney now owns 60% of the market.
They're taking over.
They'll never, like, have a monopoly, and thankfully, because I don't want to see Deadpool versus Superman or whatever they concoct.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be amazing to see, like, 2-3 movies down when they've got, like, every superhero together.
That's gonna be crazy. Like, this Avengers right now, I think they might throw in a couple of surprises just because they can at this point. But like next year and stuff, like when they start making more movies, they're gonna have so many rights to so many different people that there's gonna be so many movies. Like, it's just gonna be crazy.
I just wish they had the rights to Fox News, man.
Why do they want the rights to Fox News?
When they bought, like, whatever massive percentage of Fox, or 21st Century Fox, whatever the parent company is, one of the only factions they didn't acquire was Fox News. And Stephen Colbert has got a great joke about it. If I say this as close to verbatim as possible, it's interesting that Disney didn't buy Fox News, because you would think the masters of imagination and whatever would get it. Something like that. I butchered it, but the point is that Disney could have made one of the greatest impacts on America since, Facebook and Cambridge Analytica.
Well, Fox News already makes up everything anyway, so...
They're just a propaganda machine.
Yeah, wow.
They perpetuate a toxic mindset, and they do it in a way that completely commandeers sensibility and loyalty. So anyone who's in the Fox game is in the Fox game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what they've been so successful. These people don't realize they've been domesticated as a voting machine.
I think right now the world is blind. Like, we're talking about how we're gonna, like, evolve into other things, but right now everybody is, like, cloaked by some big force out there who decided it's necessary for everyone to be afraid and, like, not know the truths about things. So we're just gonna keep shooting it out there to scare everyone and keep them at bay. But at some point, I believe the world will wake up, and then I guess first we will evolve mentally, and then maybe a physical change. So it all goes back to evolution again.
That's the trick, man. The only time we'll ever actually be able to stop being jerks to one another is when we transcend humanity, when we get rid of all those, crappy emotions like greed and jealousy and envy and lust and whatnot, when we're essentially pure of these devious, desires and emotions, then we'll all be altruistic and be like, hey, Grandma, let me help you carry that bag of groceries in. I don't necessarily mean your grandma. I just mean whoever. Whatever. But we're so, I wouldn't say necessarily inherently self-centered, but we aren't capable of helping everyone out, which would be really nice. I would love to see that kind of utopian setting.
Yeah. Okay. We're getting close to the end of our hour, but I'm going to throw a scenario. It's going to get biblical, and it could get deep, and it might cause another tangent, but here it is.
Let's hear it.
Time travel, right? There's so many things that people say they would do, or time travel, and things they would want to see. For some reason, it just popped in my head. Well, now I want to say my other thing, too. I have two things now, and they're both biblical. Damn it. But, okay, here's the first one, with time travel. What if, like, say myself, I got the power of time travel. I went back, all the way back, to the very beginning, when Adam and Eve were in their place, and that snake crawled up and had Eve eat the apple, right? What would happen to the world today, this very day? What would occur if I had went back there and smacked the apple out of her hand before she ate it?
I don't know. That's a tough one to answer. When I don't know something, I just leave it at that. I say, if I can't make sense out of it, then I'm not meant to comprehend it. And until science figures it out, how we're all here today, how this perfect situation has, made us, then, until then, I'm just hands off, and I'm just enjoying what science has done for us.
Did I go too deep?
No, if we have any speculations as to the trajectory of human evolution, then, anything we say is just as possible as anything anyone else says.
Yeah.
Because we can't verify anything. So, I know what I know, but I don't know that it's true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, to me, if I say 2 + 2 is 4, I know that's true. But that could also just be my perception of it, so that it might really actually be 5, and I just think that, and the whole world around me has told me that it's 4. And that could be applied with how I look, how cars work, if people are real, if I'm the only human and everyone else is just meant to teach me and I'm representative of humanity, or if I'm the background for someone else's life lessons of humanity. That's what's so amazing to me, because anything is possible, anything goes.
It's all Rick and Morty, man. This is all a simulation.
I believe it. It makes way more sense.
But
what was your second thing?
Oh, well, let me put the stamp on my first thing real quick. So
sure.
They say, like it is said, that when she bit into the apple, it made God mad and he kicked him out, and that's when all the bad stuff, all sin started to happen, correctly? So if that never occurred, then it's possible that we could be living in a totally different world that would have no sin or anything. I don't know what that noise is.
Everything for the last 10 seconds just cut off.
Alright, I think we're back now.
Yeah, the last thing you had said was if we would be living in a totally different thing if you had smacked the apple out.
Yeah, it would be like a kind of a utopia now, possibly. Maybe. Or maybe another scenario would have occurred where the same thing happened. That's where you go into the weird cycle of time travel that messes up everyone's brain. Because even if you stop that event, there's no saying that 10, 20 years later, another event wouldn't have happened to cause the exact same thing.
There you go, yeah.
But my second point, which is going to make everyone think When they go to bed tonight. Yeah.
Hey, did we get it back?
I'm gonna have to edit that part out. I guess I went too deep for Facebook and they cut off our conversation.
They're probably listening to us and don't want us realizing these truths that we don't need to be on Facebook.
Like, oh no, he's broke the world.
He's capable of free will. You're not as dumb as we thought.
But here's my second point. Okay, Jesus, right?
Yeah.
He did all these great things like turning bread to feed a bunch of people and turning wine into water and all that. And then he even did the greatest thing where he died and then he was put in the ground. Easter's coming up. I just remembered that. But he got put in the ground and he disappeared from, where they buried him, which is what made Easter. But what if Jesus was the very first and the best magician?
In that he could do cool card tricks, or he could pull a bunny out of a top hat, or what?
Like illusionist, like Houdini type deal.
I don't know. I think it'd be really interesting to go see the shows in Nazareth and Israel. Judea. No, God, is that the name of the capital? Jerusalem. I cannot believe I took me that second. But it's actually, I believe the word is serendipitous that you brought this up. I listened to this podcast called The History of Rome, and I've recently passed the point where the host Mike Duncan was talking about Jesus, and he had mentioned all these facts. And what's really interesting is that his illusion, right, is that no matter how anything played out, there's a legacy of mystery and deification as well as supremacy. I mean, Christianity is the most powerful association ever. So that, if you ask me, is a pretty impressive illusion.
Yeah, that's why he's the greatest magician of all time.
Merit to that claim. Can't argue with that.
And on that note, we're going to end this podcast.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, but before we go, why don't you tell everybody all your social medias and where they can find you?
Alright, my YouTube is Dane Hoover. My Insta is at Great Dane LHR. That's GREATDANE LHR. I have a Twitter. I don't use it a whole much. You can check it out. It's I think it's under Livingston _DH. Yeah, feel free to check me out. I post a bunch of stuff, mostly outdoors. So, on that note, that I floated my boat. Once again, thank you, AJ.
Yep, I will leave your channel down in my description, so it's easier for them to find you.
Perfect. And I got my links from there, which will make it easier for people to check them out.
All right. But yeah, this was a very enlightening conversation and very fun. I'm glad that you came on.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun too.
Yeah. So we're going to end it right there and catch everybody on the flip side because we out.
All right. Until then.